Have you ever heard of the human cannonball, who stormed battlefields with one arm and the fury of 1,000 men? They called him the One-Armed Firecracker. His name was Peter Francisco, a man so legendary that George Washington reportedly said, "Without him, we would have lost the war." Today on Story NATO, buckle up for the explosive, real-life saga of the Hercules of the Revolution. He was a giant in size, a warrior in spirit, and a firecracker in battle with only one good arm and a heart that could set the world ablaze. Peter Francisco's story begins like something out of a legend. In 1765, a 5-year-old boy was found, abandoned on the docks of City Point, Virginia. He spoke only Portuguese. He had no family, no name, and no explanation for how he ended up there. Some believe he was kidnapped from a noble family in the Azores. Others suspect pirates were involved. Regardless of the mystery, fate had a different destiny planned for him. He was taken in by a local judge, given a home, and a new name, Peter Francisco. By the age of 16, Peter stood 6'6". This was in a time when the average man stood about 5'6". He weighed 260 pounds and was built like a blacksmith's anvil. Even the strongest tools couldn't keep up with him. Farmers called him Virginia's Hercules. The battlefield, however, was where he would make history. Peter joined the Continental Army. It didn't take long before tales of his strength and bravery began spreading through the ranks. At the Battle of Stony Point, in 1779, Peter helped storm a heavily fortified British fort under the cover of night. Amid gunfire and chaos, he was stabbed twice and still fought on. In the middle of the battle, he reportedly hoisted an 1,100-pound cannon onto his shoulder to prevent it from being taken by the enemy. That is not a myth. That is documented. At the Battle of Camden, in 1780, Peter found himself surrounded by British troops, with a massive sword nearly 5 feet long. Forged especially for him, he cut down 11 enemy soldiers and fought his way to freedom. One man, one sword, one mission. Perhaps the most famous moment came when he was ambushed by 9 British soldiers who ordered him to surrender. Peter appeared to comply, then suddenly grabbed one soldier's sword, killed 3 of them, and chased off the rest. He then stole their horses and rode off injured, victorious, and fearless. Peter was seriously wounded in a Virginia skirmish. A musket ball ripped through his leg, nearly costing him his mobility. Another injury nearly destroyed his arm. Most would have given up, but Peter Francisco was not most men. He refused to stay down. Even partially disabled, he returned to fight again. He dragged his leg behind him and charged into more battles. His relentless energy and near-superhuman courage earned him the nickname, the One-Armed Firecracker. When Peter fought, the ground shook with purpose. Some historians claim George Washington had a special broadsword made just for him. Others say Washington once told his men, "Give me 100 men like Peter Francisco, and I will whip the world." He worked as a blacksmith. He served as a sergeant-at-arms in the Virginia legislature. He even dabbled in politics. But his legend had already taken root in the soil of American history. He died in 1831, at the age of 70. His body was worn, but his legacy stood strong. Today, statues honor him. A Liberty ship in World War II bore his name. Stories about him are told in military academies and folklore circles. Yet somehow, his name still flies under the radar. One arm, one sword, an unstoppable spirit. Peter Francisco became the firecracker the British never expected. He was more than a soldier. He was a symbol of what happens when courage meets colossal strength and refuses to quit. Thanks for watching. If you like this story, then subscribe to Story NATO for more fascinating stories.